Okay, what the hell was that?
Unknown. Scanner reported a high-energy pulse directed at Tempest 1 just prior to time circuit shutdown. Do you wish further analysis?
Yeah. By all means. I want to know what the hell is shooting at me inside of subtime.
Acknowledged. While my analysis is underway, Captain, may I direct your attention to the center console screen?
Here we go again. It was quite possibly the fastest way to win money on a game show. For those heart-pounding 60 seconds, the audience would look on and wonder if they would make it to the top this time. The contestant, a mere 6 answers away from a huge for its time grand prize, it was just impossible to look away. But of course I'm starting to get ahead of myself. What do you say we start from the beginning?
In the not-so-distant future, a time-traveling experiment known as the Tempest Project was undergoing its first live trial. Outfitted with temporal circuits and controls was an old Defender II class fighter, call sign Tempest 1. Just as the experiment was about to begin, something went wrong. Under the control of a mysterious computer virus, Tempest 1 was hurled out of control into what can only be called a subdimension of time itself. On occasion, the plane will re-emerge into normal time, usually within the vicinity of a game show studio. And so, the game show reviewer, in an attempt to stave off insanity, reviews game show to game show, striving to regain control of the aircraft that's stranded in here, all the while hoping that the next leap will be the leap home.
Howdy y'all, I'm your game show reviewer, reviewing the game show greats, and I think this definitely qualifies, don't you? This was the game show that put its own unique spin on the standard question and answer format. This was the game show that offered up one of the highest cash prizes for its time. And this was the game show that paired up regular roles contestants with celebrities to help them win that money. From Television City in Hollywood, this is the one, the only Pyramid. This show has enough history to fill an entire review, so I'll get to that and episode 101 information later. I will say this, however, that through all 7, that's right, 7 incarnations of Pyramid, the rules and main play of the game has remained the same. Yes, they were tinkered with in the 2002 revival Pyramid, hosted by Donny Osmond, but not in any way that changed the game significantly. Oh, by the way, I'll refer to that show from this point forward as Pyramid 02, just for simplicity's sake. And with all that out of the way, let's get to Pyramid.
This is the $10,000 Pyramid. Today's special guests are...
I know I said I'd hold off on this information until later, but the very first episode of the very first incarnation of Pyramid was on March 26, 1973. This was the $10,000 Pyramid. Announcing the show was Bob Clayton, while hosting was America's oldest teenager himself, Dick Clark. By this time he was already famous as a host of American Bandstand. I'll get back to the $10,000 Pyramid later. The main portion of the game was played out here. The host, depending on which version of the show you watched, would announce off all 6 categories that the players could choose from in the main portion of gameplay. Now I say categories, but that's actually a very loose definition. Just have a look at what I mean.
You can call me in the morning if I live.
Okay. These are things associated with a prescription. Things associated with a prescription.
Remind you of anything?
Go.
Let's try Don't Worry About It all the way down at 2,000, Alex.
It's just acne. You don't have this skin infection, also known as Hansen's disease. Watson.
What is leprosy?
You are right.
Each contestant was paired up with a celebrity, resulting in 2 teams of 2. Once a category was selected, the one partner would try to get the other to say the 7 words that fit with the category in under 30 seconds.
And every night you read the paper, you read...
Headlines.
What are they?
The editorial.
Oh, you're listening to the 6 o'clock?
News.
Oh, not this one again. Okay, it flies.
Birds,
it's made of metal.
You
see them at airports.
Pilots! No. The 2 teams alternated back and forth like this until all 6 categories were used up. The winning team was the one that had the most correct answers, highest total possible, by the way, 21. Sounds simple enough? You haven't been watching game shows long enough. Go ahead, Sarah.
Although they were introduced later, there were bonuses that could be played in this round. We can't go over all of them, but two of the most commonly remembered, though, were the 7-11 and the Mystery 7. If players managed to select the category containing the Mystery 7, then the host would not reveal what the words had in common until the end of the turn. This, of course, made the category just slightly tougher. The payoff, though, was a bonus prize for guessing all 7. The 7-11 was simpler, adding an $1,100 bonus for guessing all 7 words.
Like I said before, the team who got the highest score went on to the winner's circle. However, if there was a tie here, the emergency categories were simply words that started with a certain letter. There was no bonus in play here, except in the unlikely event it was a 21-21 tie, in which case the bonus would be $5,000.
Again, we'll try to give away $100,000.
And welcome to the winner's circle. The concept for this round is actually very similar to the main round of play, but the rules were altered just enough to make it slightly more difficult. For instance, unlike the main game where players could do charades, give sentences, or definitions and so forth, the winner's circle limited the clue giver to a mere list.
Knife, scissors, things that cut, things that are sharp.
Also, none of the clue boxes had anything in common, so for the guesser, they could be just about anything possible.
Okay, the javelin throw, the 100-yard dash, the opening ceremony.
Things done at the Olympics.
Yes! Oh, not again. Okay. Boeing 727.
Okay,
Boeing 737. Boeing 747.
types of jetliners.
Boeing B-17 bombers.
Boeing production models.
Oh, for Pete's sake, Tempest 1.
Oh, types of aircraft, types of airplanes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh my God. Yes!
You know, I'm not sure what's worse, Captain. The fact that we aren't playing for real money, or that you forgot that I'm a hologram.
Thank you, Sarah.
My pleasure, sir.
In case anyone was wondering, the record for taking down the winner's circle is held by Billy Crystal. He and his partner tore through the winner's circle in no less than 26 seconds. See for yourself.
Push-ups.
Exercises.
To be or not to be.
Shakespeare, Hamlet.
Patton.
Generals,
Custer.
Georgia.
8.
Numbers, figures.
Monkeys.
Things in a barrel.
Old flowers.
Wilted things.
Now, you might be wondering about the dollar value on the backs of these clue trilons. Well, if you total them up, they equal out to $1,050? That doesn't even cover the first pyramid. Well, actually, these were the dollar amount awarded to the contestants should they not clear the board. This is how the top winner of the day was determined should no one clear the board. By the way, the highest total possible from these alone was a mere $1,000. One more note before I turn it over to Sarah here. You see that big, beautiful, glowing number up there? Yeah, about 75% of the time it's a bold-faced lie. The very first time the players entered the winner's circle on the $10,000 pyramid only, they played for that amount. But from the $20,000 pyramid and onwards, this changed. The first trip to the winner's circle was worth a small amount, such as $10,000 on the $20,000 pyramid. The second playthrough was worth as much money as needed to total out to the top value. Now you might be wondering why I phrased it like that. Well, it goes like this. If they won $10,000 the first time around, then the value of the winner's circle is now suddenly $15,000 the second time around, for a grand total of $25,000 for the $25,000 pyramid. This is how it played out for the $10,000, $20,000, and $25,000 pyramids. Sarah, you're up.
The $50,000 and $100,000 pyramids had prizes that were so high, they had to make it just a little bit harder to get. Therefore, a tournament structure was implemented. Players were not only trying to get to the top of the pyramid, they were now also trying to get up there as quickly as possible. After a certain amount of weeks, the 3 or 4 players with the lowest times were invited back to the show.
From Television City in Hollywood, this is the $100,000 Pyramid Tournament Week.
With only one exception, no bonuses in the main game were played, the one exception being the 21-21 tiebreaker. Also, there was no lower amount played for in the winner's circle. The rule was simply the player who made it to the top of the pyramid first won $100,000 or $50,000 for the other show. Although this tournament structure made it trickier to get to the top prize, it made for a nice extra bit of challenge for the show. Not to mention, I'm certain the show saw a nice rating boost during the tournament week. But of course, we're here to discuss the show, not the ratings, right, Captain?
Actually, Sarah, I am going to talk about ratings here. See, this was the gameplay structure for any show called Pyramid. The 10, 20, 25, 50, and $100,000 versions, and yes, Pyramid 02 as well. The tournament structure, by the way, limited to the last 3. As I said before, the first incarnation of Pyramid began its run on March 26, 1973. Not a well-known fact here was a last-second change to the winner's circle board. Originally, there were 10 categories to get through here. Now, you could probably do the math here. 10 categories at 60 seconds left you a mere 6 seconds to spend on each category. Not even Billy Crystal could have blazed through this pyramid. But thankfully, someone picked up on it, albeit a bit late to do anything about it because the set had already been designed. But that doesn't stop the power of ingenuity, does it? And so, a large block of plywood was nailed over the bottom 4 rows of the game board, painted over, and that's how it went to air. Hey, in a pinch, anything works. The $10,000 pyramid started with strong ratings, doing well even when preempted by the Watergate hearings that year. But the ratings slipped slightly by a year later. And of course, the executives at CBS panicked and quickly canceled the show a year later. ABC then decided to take a shot at the show and revive the $10,000 pyramid, episode 101 on June 17, 1974. The show was so successful that in September of that year, ABC commissioned a primetime version of the show. This was the $25,000 pyramid, this time hosted by Bill Cullen. Once again, a rating success. It was then that they decided to try to up the stakes on the daytime show, which was relaunched as the $20,000 pyramid on January 19, 1976. Unfortunately, like the $10,000 version before it, this show was eventually canned due to slipping ratings, ending on June 27, 1980. A 6-week experiment in Pyramid, known as Junior Partner Pyramid, ran from October 1st to November 9th in 1979. There were some very minute rule changes, and of course the teams were kids with an adult relative, usually a parent. Anyways, from January 26, 1980 to September 4th of that same year, the $50,000 pyramid entered syndication. But as you could probably tell from the dates I mentioned, that didn't last too long. The only thing worth mentioning here, of course, was that this was the first appearance of the tournament structure. Sarah, all yours.
On September 20th, 1982, CBS finally and at long last revived their famous pyramid. Returning to hosting duties was Dick Clark for the newly revived $25,000 pyramid.
From Television City in Hollywood, this is the $25,000 Pyramid.
Actually, it only stayed as the $25,000 pyramid for a few months because in November of that year, it was suddenly called the new $25,000 pyramid. The old $25,000 pyramid with Bill Cullen was still being rerun on some stations, so the new was added to avoid confusion. It was 3 years later that the new would finally be dropped from the title, becoming just the $25,000 pyramid. Like other pyramids before it, it was a ratings hit. Soon commissioned for the show was a syndicated counterpart, the $100,000 pyramid, which premiered in September of 1985. Like its network counterpart, a huge hit. But they say all good things must come to an end, and all good rating eventually slide. The $25,000 pyramid ended its run on December 31st, 1987, to allow a new game show to try its luck. This was entitled Blackout.
Good crowd. Hey, thank you very much, and welcome to Blackout. We got a great group of folks with us this week.
However, Blackout only lasted 13 weeks, and with no other game show to turn to until the new Family Feud was ready, take a guess. And I mean just one guess which show they brought in as filler.
From Television City in Hollywood, this is the $25,000 Pyramid.
But of course it was just filler, lasting from April 4th to July 1st, 1988. The $100,000 pyramid soon followed it off the air, ending on September 8th of the same year.
For now, Dick Clark. So long.
In 1991, the $100,000 pyramid made its return to television, this time hosted by John Davidson.
This is the winner's circle. This is where someone is guaranteed to win $100,000.
Unfortunately, this time around, luck wasn't on the pyramid's side, and it only lasted 1 year. Then, of course, that remake in 2002, hosted by Donny Osmond, simply called Pyramid. In my humble opinion, this remake was just a disaster. In the front game, there were only 6 words instead of 7, and only 20 seconds to get through them instead of 30. And remember that drama from the winner's circle from the previous versions? Well, compare and contrast here.
Here is your first subject. Go.
The king, the pawn, chess pieces.
60 seconds on the clock. Ready? Go.
A tub, a toilet.
Things in the bathroom.
Where's the drama? Where's the sense of pressure? With that simple countdown tick, plus the ominous red glowing pyramids in the background, this was really a tense round. Then Pyramid 02 comes along and screws it all up. Also, the tournament structure here was just... Sarah, I made a flowchart for this. Can you display it, please? Thank you. Okay, the first thing of note here is that there are no returning champions. Second thing of note here is the amount required to qualify for the tournament, $25,000. Remember what we said earlier about dollar amounts won in the winner's circle? It still applies. That means that one player has to win in the winner's circle twice on the same day. As you can see, whoever loses the first round is automatically out. On top of that, if player 2 gets to the winner's circle now, player 1 is out. I mean, come on! Now let's just assume that some players were lucky enough to get to this tournament. Let's see that chart. Notice anything similar about it? It's exactly the same. One of these 2 players must again be lucky enough to take down the circle twice on the same day again. I've heard of lightning striking twice, which winning this winner's circle must have felt like, but 4 times in the same spot? Oh yeah, there's a little caveat there, but this show's not supposed to be about technicalities. This show's supposed to be about taking down the winner's circle. And to cap it all off, the top prize for this show was still $100,000. Fair amount of money, mind you, but this show aired in the era of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Would it have killed them to up the stakes just a little bit? Reviewing the game show greats and the occasional dud, that's my motto. All I can say is, I hope this is that dud. With one minor exception, Pyramid was a great show. The style of guessing words in this format was something no game show had done up until this point, and it wasn't extremely hard to win the money like on, say, Jeopardy! The added bonus of meeting celebrities for the day definitely helped, and when those celebrities help you win money, what else can you ask for? I really hope this show comes back to air soon, maybe with, say, $1 million prize. The $1 million pyramid. From Television City in Hollywood, this is the $1 million pyramid. And of course, should this show come back to TV, I hope it's not all screwed up like, that show. And so with that in mind, I'll go ahead and wrap up my review. I'm your game show reviewer, reviewing the game show greats and the occasional dud?
Captain, are you alright?
Sarah, I will be okay after you tell me what the hell just happened.
Tempest 1 just jumped about 7 months from where we just were.
Okay, wait a minute, I have 2 questions. One, why didn't you tell me we were gonna leap?
You muted the voice warnings, remember?
Oh, right. Okay, then how did I leap without the plane?
Your comlink, sir. I theorize it's somehow tied to Tempest 1. When the plane leaps, anything that's touching it leaps with it. The same must go for the comlink.
So how come we didn't enter subtime?
Have you noticed how the length of time in there is related to how far we leap?
Yeah?
I theorize that for a very short time, say within a year, there is no subtime entry.
Okay, so where's Tempest 1?
Right where you left it, sir.
Okay, good. And where the hell am I?
Hey sir, you said you did want to do this one.
Yes, I did, didn't I? Well, here we go again.